This video is about if your child is going to go into the Air Force, what to expect and what is going to be like for your child from the beginning process of it, what to expect, what does they ask you, what paperwork you need. I have this in a longer form video. You'll be able to find it somewhere down there to watch the rest of this. The long form content of this video about what to expect when your child goes to the Air Force, because it's not as simple as you might think it is. It's very detailed and it's a process, and it's something you should prepare your child for and for you and your child to understand. Another thing that I might make sure you understand is everything has a paper trail. They're going to want to see the paper trail. So if your child had an injury, they're going to want to see the x-rays. They're going to want to see the results. They're going to want to see when the child went back to the doctor to get cleared. If your child didn't get cleared, whatever injury your child had, you're going back. You're getting him cleared, because they're not gonna allow your child to enter the Air Force. He or she has to be cleared. Also, that's what multiple injuries your child had. Child had a broken bone. You bet they want to know that. They ask that question multiple times if it has a broken bone. My child dislocated elbow, popped it back in, took him for an x-ray. He was fine. Did he go back to get re-looked at? He refused to go. I didn't fight him. He had to get cleared. I had to bring him. That was like a year later. I had to bring him to the doctor to get another x-ray. He said, yes, he's good to go. Paper trail, back to the doctor, back to recruiter. Another thing, they're going to want 3 years worth of paper from pharmacy, the history from the pharmacy, so they can see what medication your child been taking. Yeah, so you cannot hide anything from them. They're gonna find out if there's something the child has. They're gonna know. They're gonna find out, because they're gonna want the 3 years report of what your medicine your child been on. So that's something I feel like it's important for you guys to know. Okay, back to the rest of it. I'm doing this video to reach out to people that have their child that's interested in going into the Air Force. I am not a recruiter. I'm not a professional of that nature of when it comes to recruiting or the Air Force. I'm just expressing what I've gone through, and maybe it'll help you understand the process of what your child is going to go through. Okay. So if your child is going to want to go in the Air Force, the child has to take a test. And it's a practice test. Going to go there, going to go in a separate room by him or herself and take a practice test. The recruiter going to see what their grade is. They have to be at a certain level to think for the Air Force to take them. I believe it had to be a 70% or above. 70 or above, I believe, for the grade of what the practice test. Once they take that test, the practice test right in the recruiter's office, she's gonna sit down with them. He or she gonna sit down with your child and say, hey, this is what you need to work on, this is what you got, this is the grade. And she's gonna give you a website to go to practice, to start practicing on whatever your weaknesses is. The higher up your grade of your child scored, the more jobs are open to your child. So the higher the rank, higher the better job. So that's a big deal. So your child needs to practice wherever the website recruiter tells your child to go to. You seriously need to do that. With that, your child needs to start working out. Freaking start running. Start exercising. Start lifting weight. Start doing pull-ups. I can't say my child is running because he's not. And my God, I wish he was, because I have a treadmill and I run. So like, run, try to run. But no, he will not. But he does do push-up. He does do pull-up. Start working out. Start making healthier choices. For the educational part of it, keep working on the website to improve your grades. So when your child go for the test, the MEP test is called, and gonna be like a 2-day process. Just stay at the hotel. First day, it's gonna be like the math and reading, all that, and see what the grade is. Then the next one is the physical. Hearing physical, check you everywhere, and see how you do that and put that together. If there's something wrong, the recruiter's going to let you know. You might fail a hearing test and your child never had a hearing problem. Well, you failed a part. They're going to stop the process right there and tell you, okay, go see your audiologist. Then your audiologist is going to do what they need to do. Or something not right, they're going to make you go see a doctor. And it's going to be a paper trail. It is the process. My son had that process and he failed a hearing test. He blamed me. And I'm like, no, you don't. You are not deaf. I am deaf. My reason for being deaf is totally different from anybody else's. Like you, my child, don't like to clean your ears. I know you don't. And brought him to my job, and my girlfriends looked at his ear, coworkers, yeah, completely plugged. Took him to the audiologist where he had his tube, not the audiologist, the ENT, where he had his tube put in a few years back. And he was completely plugged, and the earwax was attached to the eardrum, and so therefore they had to do surgery on him. Surgery. Did that, took the hearing test again with the with the ENT, and he has an audiologist of his own, and he passed. Therefore, was able to take that paper, bring it to his recruiter. The recruiter submitted up to the next person, and it took a few weeks to find out if he passed. Just to find out that they had another question about an injury he had a year ago, and that was another process. So it is a process. It's not cut and dry. In the end, everything was clear. So with that, he got clear, got sworn in at the recruiter's office. Sat down, talk about jobs. The list of jobs is really long, especially depending on what grade that your child gets. And it depends on that, and that will include the job. The higher the grade, the more open job. In the end, you can't make a child choose a specific job that you might think that child should take. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, so once that they pick that job, they got a big list. The list condensed to 8. The 8, therefore, the child might say, I want this and this and this. But in the end, the child will not pick. The child put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and put what he wants or she wants. But in the end, they will choose which job your child will go in of the 8 that your child picked. And that's it. That child will be locked into that job for 35 months. So that's a long time. You're locked in. As soon as you're done with boot camp, you go straight to training. Boot camp is 7.5 weeks. Your graduation is 2 days. The third day, you go to training school for whatever trade you picked. So, and it could be a couple weeks to 6 weeks to 6 months, depending on what trade you picked. So that's the process of understanding that. So for the graduation, I live in the United States. The graduation is in Texas. You have to have your birth certificate, social security card. Your child have to put your names on that paper saying that you are going. Their names have to be spelled correct. Your information, your date of birth has to be spelled correct in order for you to get into the gate to watch your child graduation. I think that's pretty important for you to know. Before your child leaves for boot camp, they will tell your child the day that they're gonna leave. The night before they leave, they have to be in a hotel by a certain time, like 5 o'clock for my child. And the next day is when they leave. They have another swear-in. Family gets to go see the swear-in, and off your child goes into the world to boot camp in Texas. So before we continue on with the videos, I hope you find this helpful, and if you like, you can always buy me a coffee. Coffee makes me very happy. I'm a Dunkin' Donut girl. So if you ever feel like buying me a coffee, you can buy me a coffee. My link is in the description or on my profile, and you will see the buy me coffee thing. So only if you want to. Either way, I appreciate it. Now back to what I was talking about. Bye. So I hope that gives you a little idea what to expect if your child decides going to go in the Air Force. Another thing is the Air Force has their own college. You get your own associate degree and bachelor degree with them for free. So if your child picks a good career, could get an education, my God, that's beautiful. Your education's free. You get your education through them. They have their own college, the Air Force. That is a big plus if your child utilizes it. And there's something to try to make your child understand that. I hope this helps. Till next time. And once again, no, I'm not a professional, but this is what I experienced and what I'm going through. And in a couple of weeks, I'll be able to experience this. I'm sending my child off to boot camp, and it's very mixed feelings, and it's hard to let your 18-year-old young man, a child, go into that, in the world of possible war. But I know it's definitely an experience to see the world, and so maybe you can go on a journey with me as to everything that goes with that, so you know what it's gonna be like, so you're not blindsided and understand. Okay, next time, adios. Like, follow, bye.